Hello folks, I'm Dean with Dean's Woodworking. Y'all come on into the shop and make yourself comfortable. Tonight we're going to turn some ornaments. And these particular ornaments are going to be little trees. Again, this is part of my series of ornaments. And just keeping it simple, things that you can turn from a limb. And when I'm talking about a limb, I'm talking about just a simple limb. This one is dried out. I have taken the bark off of it, but you can still see this is not S4S lumber from your lumber supplier. This is off the neighbor's tree. So we're going to take this and we're going to turn it into a little ornament tree. This is a very simple little ornament, something anybody can turn in just a couple of minutes. And we're going to go over what I do from start to finish, okay? First of all, please don't ask me the dimensions of this. This is a limb. It's off the neighbor's tree, literally. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this thing round, then we're going to shape it, and then I'm going to show you a couple of different things I do with these ornaments. Let's get started. Okay, today we're going to start off with a 3/4 inch skew, and we're just going to kind of knock off the edge here. Get that end squared up, not that it's necessary. It's just something that I like to do. And then we're going to grab our 1/2 inch bowl gouge, and we're literally just going to start turning this into a cone. Again, we're not in a hurry to get this into a cone, so don't push too hard, don't cut too heavy, and I'm probably not setting the best example there. Now that we've got our basic shape of a tree, I'm going to come in, and I noticed that we've got a little bit of the hole in the end there. There we go. So I'm just going to pull that back just a little bit. Again, my left hand is just holding pressure down on the gouge. My right hand is actually steering the gouge. I'm going to make a final little cut here with a skew just to smooth that off just a little bit more. Then we're going to take this 3/8 inch spindle gouge, and we're just going to round this over here. Put just a little bit of a ball right there on top of it. Now you can put different shapes on the top of these, and it can be a lot of fun coming up with the different shapes and deciding what you want to do. But with this one, we're just going to put a little ball on the top of it. And then I want to talk to you folks about this right here. It is my super thin parting tool. It may resemble a steak knife because at one point in time it might have been one. I picked it up, obviously made this side where it's not sharp anymore. The last thing I want it doing is cutting anything that has to do with meat, because I'm the only meat out here. But what we're going to do is we're going to come in on this thing and we're going to do just very little parting cuts. We're going to come about every 1/8 of an inch. We're going to come in about the same distance on each one. As you get down the tree, you can increase the size of each one of those cuts. And see, it's not a real big deal if you get one a little closer to the other one, because guess what? Trees are not actually uniform, folks. So one limb may actually grow a little closer to the other. And that would be what we call nature. Now let's take a look at that. We've got a little bit, we're right about to the bottom of that where that's rounded off. We're starting to get in the rough portion there. So what we'll do at this point is we'll go ahead and start to turn this back. And we're going to come in and do a little V-cut right there. Now stop the lathe just a minute because I want you folks to see what's happening here. And there's a couple of more things. When you're doing that parting tool, you see this is a little bit rough. Sometimes you can sand that. Other times I just leave it a little rough. I kind of prefer it sanded, but I've seen a number of folks that have taken this design and intentionally turned it rough and then painted it green, and it gives it a really nice effect. So we're going to take our skew. We're going to get us a good cut right in there. That gives us a little working room now. We're going to go back to the 1/2 inch bowl gouge. And basically at this point, we're just giving ourselves a little room. Now before we get too much further, there's a couple of things I do want to do. Like I said, I like to hit these with some sandpaper. Just kind of knock that rough edge off. Again, it doesn't have to be a lot. That's 150. That's 220. That's 320. You got the full effect of the sanding that I do on these little ornaments. Before I go a whole lot further, I'm going to take my skew and I'm going to come right into the end of that. And all I'm doing is just making a little small divot. Some of you folks remember the other day when I used the little pin vise in the drill to drill the bell. Well, you don't have to use the drill bit or the drill on this one. You can do it right here on the lathe because the top of it is sticking out. So a pin vise is just a small little tool to hold tiny drill bits. And by drilling that, now you can go in, you can use eye bolts. I use little jewelry loops that I cut off and put in there and super glue in. My buddy Doug Rose said he uses some fishing tackle and basically a swivel, I guess, and that way this thing turns on it. So there's tremendous amount of ways that you can do this. I'm going to tell you that I don't really believe there's a right or wrong way. Just make sure whatever you're doing is what works for you. Now, I'm going to narrow this down just a little bit. And then I'm going to take my detail tool, or detail gouge. I'm going to balance that bevel right up there against it. I'm going to turn it just a little bit, and I'm just going to make an undercut right there. By doing that, the bottom kind of comes up and it gives it that ability to, you don't see the bottom, you just see the stem sticking out from underneath there. And we'll take our parting tool here, bring that on down. Looks like we need just a little bit more adjustment right here. To get that good and smooth. We're then going to come in and we're going to hit that stem with just a little bit of 150, just a little bit of 220, just a little bit of 320. Once we've done that, we're going to come in with our skew. I'll tell you what, let's do something a little different here. Now some of you may not realize what I did different yet. I almost always turn these with a little stem. But as I was looking at that one, just the way that ended up, I like the base on it. So why not? Here's the thing, folks. You do not have to make these all the same. Another thing you can do, when you come in and do these cuts, make them a little wider and then take your spindle gouge and go in and undercut the top of each one of those. There are so many ways, folks, that you can go in and do these little ornaments, and no matter what you do, they're going to look good. Your friends, your family, they're going to love them. And if you do a show, folks are going to buy them. These are so quick to make and so easy to make. It's one of those things that you can put in your booth, $5 to $10, and you won't be able to keep them. One of the guys told me on the bells that we just did that he took one of his neighbor's limbs, turned 20 of them, and put them in the garage sale that he had the next day for $5 a piece, and he sold out almost immediately. People love this stuff. You put the little hook in. These little curly Q hooks here that I get, I picked those up at Hobby Lobby. I think you can get them on Amazon. They're not expensive. You hang it on that, it just adds a touch. Here's the deal. This one has lacquer on it. Sometimes I paint them green. When you paint them green, you can come back in and do a little white specks on them, looks like snowflakes. Again, there are just so many things you can do with these little ornaments. I hope this gives you one more idea to get back out in your shop and motivates you to turn something. Again, the whole reason for this channel is to motivate you, educate you, and entertain you. If I've entertained you, great. If I've educated you, even more wonderful. But if I've motivated you to get back out in your shop, that's the true goal. Folks, thank you for watching. If you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. Leave me a comment. Stay safe, stay healthy, and happy turning.